What is up, guys? Potty Muffin here, and we are back with another Tales of the Rays video. This is going to be my 2020 How to Play guide for Tales of the Rays. I will also be doing one for Tales of Asteria, probably within the next week of this one going up. So if you're interested in that, definitely be on the lookout for that. So I originally started doing this video, but I saw myself jumping around way too much, and I feel like it was going to get very confusing. So what I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to go over all of these, everything on the main page here, and then we will go tab by tab, just explaining what each tab is for and everything inside each tab. And then after that, I will explain more of the ins and outs of the game. So, let's start off up here. This button right here, as most gacha games have, it is a news tab. So you've got your regular news stuff here. So anytime anything comes out. You've got your second tab, which I believe is... It looks like it's gacha specific. It definitely looks like it has to deal with banners. And then the third one has to do with maintenance, or any kind of unexpected errors and stuff like that. So if you want to see what's coming, if you have a red exclamation point above the news tab, go ahead and check that. And then you'll be able to, click on stuff like this. And whenever it decides to load, sometimes loading takes a minute. You'll be able to see, what's kind of going on with all this stuff. So that's the first tab. Second tab, pretty simple. It's your gift box. If you have stuff in there, you'll be able to see stuff. Third tab. This is your missions tab. So, whenever a new story chapter comes out, or your dailies, which I already have completed here, you will get stuff like that. So, this first tab is just regular stuff. They do have a campaign going on right now for using AP. So, as you can see, I'll get 45 orbs once I've used a total of 5,000 AP during the campaign. I don't think there's that much time left, so I really should get down to doing that, because diamonds, 45 diamonds is pretty much a quarter of a multi, so that's pretty good. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Obviously, it is very, it can be difficult because you can't really read it, but I'm sure if you look hard enough, or if you go on the wiki, I'm sure there's a way to kind of figure it out. But the dailies are pretty self-explanatory. All you literally have to do for all your dailies is play 3 missions and then collect 3 treasure chests, and you'll have all your dailies done. Right now, with the campaign they have going on, you need to use 40 AP in a day, which you start with 40 AP as a brand new player, so you'll be able to do that if you just use all your AP. And then there's some more missions here. Like I said, the easiest thing I do, if I can't get an answer from somewhere, all I literally do is just screenshot the mission, and then you can just Google for a picture translating thing, and then you can get a rough idea of what each thing is. These are your event stuff, so when there's an event live, this is where you'll get different items for that. Like this one up top, for example, is for getting the brand new character, which is Creed right now, to level 70. You'll get 40 gems for doing that. And then this last tab is usually just for the carnival when that goes live, but there's no carnival currently, I believe. I don't think there's one this weekend. And what a carnival basically is a certain period of time, usually on weekends, where you'll get more gold, more XP, just all kinds of stuff. You'll get some presents, which I'll explain presents later, and all that good stuff. Fourth tab right here is your friends list. Pretty self-explanatory. You basically add people. So this first tab up here, this is your friends. So these are all the people I have added. I have 37 people added. And then the second tab is your followers list. So the people who are following you. So it's different. It's not a friend system where someone adds you and then you accept it. It's a follower system in that regard. So, and you can have up to 100 people following you at once. If you want to have a specific person add you and your list is full, you'll have to go ahead and remove someone. And I'll actually show right now real quick how that works. Let's see. Let's look for someone who's clearly not playing right now. I'm just looking for a base mirror jar, because sometimes people will have and I'll explain what the different mirror jars as well. And also, this video, you know what, this Micleo. There's no reason for someone to have Micleo as their friend person. So, if you want to remove someone, you'll click this bottom one, and then you'll click over here, and that stops them from following you. And as you can see now, I'm up to 98. So that's how the friend system works right there. Okay. This right here, this is a kind of... You get one for free. But after this is basically double drop rates, stuff like that. You don't really need to worry about this too much, but long story short, it'll give you double drops for a specific amount of time. This right here, not really too important. It picks a custom team for you to go complete a specific mission. Doesn't really do anything special for you, so it's not really too important. This here is something that was not in my breakdown for last year. So this is basically a collector's kind of thing. So if you've been playing for a while and you haven't been on since they added this, you can actually get a decent amount of stuff from this. So it just basically showcases all the free mirror arts and the summonable mirror arts you have gotten over your time with the game. As you can see, there's a lot. And then the second tab is the spirit gears, which I'll explain all the different kinds of equipment when we get to the equipment tab. And then the 5 stars here. You can look at the artwork for that as well. That's mainly what it's for, just to kind of look at the artwork. This right here, this will actually be important if you're going to be doing the beginner missions. These are what is known as, I guess they would be called orders. So what there's one for XP, there's one for items, and there's one for food. So XP, pretty self-explanatory. We'll just go ahead, we'll show that off. You know, you send 4 characters out, and they get the total amount of XP shown here. Fairly simple. Second one, like I said, it's going to be for items, so you'll have different enhancement items and stuff like that that you'll get, which, if I can tap on the thing correctly, I will show you. So as you can see here, we sent 4 characters out, and we got these kinds of rewards. Different kind of anima orbs and stuff like that that will be used for various things. Another thing we will be going over when we get to the equipment tab. And then the last one for food. So basically what this does, depending on the characters you send out and what their icons do, they will make a specific type of food that will give your team a certain buff for a certain amount of time. So as you can see there, we did something for food. I obviously can't read it, so I don't know what buff we're getting, but it's pretty cool to see nonetheless. Now, let's go over what you actually do here when you want to send characters out. So as you can see, there are different stages, there are different amounts of time. So there are 2 1-hour ones, there's 2 2-hour ones, 2 4-hour ones, 2 6-hour ones, and 2 10-hour ones. Now, if you click on each one, you can see you need to have level 10 characters for this one, and you need to have level 150 characters for this one. Not is added together. Sorry, I should have specified for that. So you need all the characters that you're sending to add up to a total of 150 if you want it to be completed for guaranteed. 40, and then the second 150. There's pretty much one for each of the hours for someone who is new, and then someone who is, you know, a long-time player who can handle the higher missions. So that's pretty much how that works. You got 2 10-hour ones, one for 150, and then one for 100. So they go up gradually. So there's that. I'm not going to send the characters out yet, but you can pretty much figure out how that works. Alright, I think that's pretty much everything on the main page, except... So, I will explain what everything up here is, but I'll go into more detail on each thing as we go through. So first one, this is your AP. Unlike most gacha games, you do not obtain this just by playing... I mean, you kind of obtain it by just playing the game. But it's not, you don't have a player rank. As you can see, there's no player rank anywhere on this because there is no player rank in Tales of the Rays. So the way you get AP orbs is through story and through character skits. And when we get to the certain tabs that those pertain to, I will explain that further. These prisms up here, these golden little triangle things, you use those to buy stuff from the turtle shop, like different weapons for characters. Maybe you don't want to wait for a character banner to come around or a certain character to come back around on a banner to summon for. You can use these prisms to basically buy any 3 or 4 star weapons for those characters. But we'll go over, when we get to the turtle shop, I will showcase that in more detail. And the way you get prisms is 2 ways. If you sell weapons, so if you max limit break weapons and you sell them, you get prisms. And then there are certain, and then just summoning on banners in general, when you do multis and stuff like that. Usually paid multis are the best ways to get them. We can actually go ahead and showcase that right now. Well, not showcase it, but I can show it off. when it wants to load. See, as you can see here, when you set, we'll go into the summon tab. We'll go over the summon stuff in detail in a minute, but I just want to show that real quick. As you can see with this banner, you get 220 prisms if you do this first step right here. And then if you go over here, you get 20 prisms if you just do a... So basically, no diamond summons are going to give you these prisms. So it's pretty much for the paid players that are going to whale out and stuff like that. But like I said, you can still get prisms by selling equipment that you're not using or stuff you have max limit broken. So let's go back to the main page and explain the rest of the stuff real quick. That's probably one of the only times I'll do a detour in the middle of an explanation, just to kind of give a visual aid for it. Obviously, below it, this is your gold. This is the money that you use to upgrade equipment, to infuse equipment, enhance it, all that good stuff. This is obviously the paid currency at the top is Mirror Gems. You know, self-explanatory, it's paid currency. And we'll explain what the difference is between paid currency and regular currency when it comes to summoning. And then diamonds down here are the free-to-play currency. For Mirror Gems, it costs 2,000 for a regular multi-summon, and it costs 200 for a regular single summon. And then for diamonds, it is 200 for a multi-summon and 20 for a single summon. And I think that's pretty much everything on the main page. This just cycles through all the news stuff. And this just kind of takes you over... I think it just shows you the... Yeah, it just shows you the list of characters. Alright, so we're done on the first tab. So now let's go to the second tab. I will try to keep this video shorter than the last 2 years, but I can't make any promises because they keep adding stuff to the game. Alright, let's go over the simple stuff first. So as you can see here, we do have the food thing that I just mentioned, so that's up there. So, first thing here, this little cycle thing. It cycles between the story arcs. There are currently 3 story arcs in Tales of the Rays, and in the 3rd story arc, we are all the way up to Chapter 11. Probably within 2 weeks of this video coming out, we will probably be close to getting Chapter 12. So, pretty self-explanatory. You go through the story and all that good stuff. There is a normal and a hard mode. You can pretty much... So, like I said, it's 200 diamonds for a full multi-summon, and if you do normal and hard mode to completion, you can get 120 diamonds, roughly, on normal. So, like, what would be a good example? So, most missions after here are just 15. It's usually just 15 missions, so on those, you can get 120 diamonds. So, you can roughly get, you know, 2/3 of a multi, pretty close to it, per story chapter if you do everything. So if you are a new player, you will have plenty of summon currency from these 3 chapters. So that's the story chapters. Second tab is your events. We currently have this first one with Mythos and Barbados, which is a rerun event. This already happened. You know, these are older characters. And then, of course, we have the Creed event right now with everything going on with that. Let's go over 2 things real quick on these events because it is kind of important. So, obviously once you've completed the event, you will get currency from farming the final stage, and that's where you'll click on this tab down here. This is the event shop where you'll be able to exchange the stuff for the character's weapons. There will be, normally on events, they have summon tickets at the top, so you have free chances to kind of get their gear. But then this is also a great place to get these materials to kind of enhance your gear even further, because that's really how you're going to make your teams be real powerhouses. So that's for a regular event. This is what's known as a raid event. As you can see, there is a 53.3% completion right now. Basically how this works is the entire community of players who play the game, they work together to keep beating these missions over and over. There are quite a few missions depending on what difficulty you can handle, and these are the different powers. As you can see, 10,000, 15, 20, 25. So whatever you feel like you can handle, you just farm that one, and as you can see, you get a specific amount of points, and you accumulate points. And what's important about that on a raid event is you have kind of a, I was going to say tier list, but essentially once you hit these certain point markers, you get these rewards as they come down. As you can see, there's some summon tickets right there once we get to 320,000. So it's just nice to be able to get some stuff right there. So that is pretty much it for events. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then this one right here is just a regular event. It kind of plays like story. And there's not really too much to say about that. I do have to backtrack real quick to story, real quick, because I forgot to mention one thing. The first way to get AP orbs, I did not mean to, I forgot. They reset the first story arc, so it's going to play stuff. So they recently reset the chapter 1 story, so everyone who would, if you're a new player, this won't matter to you because you won't be able to reset it, I think if you make a new account now, it'll just start you with the reset stuff, so I don't think you'll be able to go through it and then reset it. But what I did want to explain was, anywhere you see these books right here, not this character book is where you'll unlock a new character, you'll get a character for free. And that's the other thing I want to mention real quick. This is a weapon gacha. It is not a character gacha. You don't summon for the characters. As long as you're playing when the character's event or story comes around and you play through it, you will unlock the character for free. But obviously, they're not going to be that useful unless you can pull equipment for them. So you kind of have to pick and choose who you want to summon for. Anyways, back to this. Each one of these quests that has a book, only in story mode, will give you another AP orb, and whenever you get 3 AP orbs, it will refill, it'll add 1 to it, so like when I get 1 more AP orb, it'll go to 212, and it'll add 212 to my current total, so 202 right now, I'd be at 400 and something AP. That's why it's great when story chapters come out, because you'll finish the story chapter with like 800 AP, if you're, if you have as much as I do. So that's the one thing I wanted to backtrack on. Third tab. This is I can't show you it because it's already been done for the day, but this is your daily kind of item farming thing. It used to be like 6 different quests that you could just choose to farm, but they became very outdated and most people just use the events to get these enhancement materials. So what they did was they made it a 0 AP cost mission that you can do twice a day, and you just get materials depending on what day it is. So that's pretty nice. It doesn't cost you anything. It just takes you a couple minutes to run through it, and it's relatively easy. Next tab right here, this is the monthly tower. This resets on whenever we get the content at the end of the month. It's usually like, the 29th, 30th, 31st, whatever the final day of the month is. As you can see here, look, it goes till 1:30, and in 1:31, January 31st will be when the next tower starts, and you basically go through, you take all the characters. I'm not gonna actually, oh no, that's the auto, let's go ahead, let's click this. So as you can see, you are able to, any characters you have awakened or have mirage arts for, you're basically able to build a ginormous team of characters. As you can see, my almost 3 years of playing, I have 107 characters I can take into the tower, and pretty much whenever a character goes down, the next one will take its place. So if we scroll all the way back up to the top, so when these first 4 characters go down, the next one in order, so you kind of have to place your team accordingly, because if your healer goes down, you want to make sure, a healer's not 20 characters away, or else your teams are just going to be dying consistently. So you do have to strategically place your characters, and obviously put the weaker characters in first so they can deal with the riffraff in the beginning of the tower, and then save your powerhouses for later. So that's the tower, and you can get these books from completing the tower, which is more of a newer thing that they've added, and you can basically exchange them here for buffs to put on your character. As you can see here, they do cost a lot. For the 3-star ones, I mean, even the 1-star ones aren't too bad, so if you know a specific ability you want to give to your character, you can go ahead and do that. So that's pretty much it for the tower. That's the basic breakdown of it. You'll understand the tower when you kind of play through it. Just kind of figure out what enemies you're going to be dealing with and stuff. And right here, these are the bonus characters. So you'll always want to look here to know which characters are going to be doing extra damage every tower. You normally go from floor 1 to 50. That's the normal stuff. And then there's 10 extra stages. So if you don't care about, like gifts or stuff like that, because there's no more diamond rewards once you get past 50. Once you hit 50, you've gotten all the diamond rewards. Between the first 50 floors, you get 250 diamonds. So you get a little over a multi just for doing the tower up to 50. So that's pretty nice to have every month. So that's it for the tower. They said they were going to be adding a new tower. I think there's going to be a second tower eventually, but we don't have enough information about that to really talk about that just yet. This right here is not something I do very often because I've been around for every event since, I want to say, the first 6 months of the game. But basically, you'll get these repeat tickets. So certain events that have been around for a very long time will not get rerun events anymore, like the Mythos and Barbados event you saw up. This is just for the really, really old events. So all the events you see here are let's see actually how far it goes. It's like the first year and a couple months of the game is events here. So you can basically, if you want a specific character unlocked and you have a ticket, you just play through the event real quick and you get the character. And during the time period, because it's only for a specific amount of time, during the time period that it's actually open, there will be a special banner that will appear. So if you want to summon for that specific character, which I highly advise against because most of these characters have come back on future events with their old gear on the new banner. So I don't recommend summoning on these old banners, but if you were going for a specific thing, then maybe you want to do a little bit of summoning on it. But that's basically what that is. Nothing too crazy. Not something a lot of players do a ton, but it is nice to have. These are skill quests. So when you get a character to bond level 10 by giving them presents, which I'll explain when we get to the room, you basically get all of this. So the character will appear here. You'll be able to click on them. Let's click on a character I haven't completed before. We're not going to watch the skit again. I guess it doesn't pop up again. And you'll basically click here where you'll fight a specific enemy. It'll be a one-on-one fight, so you'll have to prove how good you are with the character by defeating the enemy. Usually, if your character is not overpowered, you're going to have to be more strategic than straightforward. So there's that. And when you complete this, that is another way to get an AP orb, because you will get the character's second skit. I'll explain what skits are when we get to that tab itself. So there's that. And then the final tab down here is the Spirit Gear tab. So Spirit Gear events are basically when a character gets a specific new outfit that also serves as kind of like an ultimate attack. It serves as a Mirage Art, which is basically, if you're familiar with the Tales series, it's like a Mystic Art, but it's this game's version of it, so it's your ultimate attack. But this is one that a character can wear, and the character basically has an ultimate attack that when you stock it up playing through normal story content, you can just hold on to it until you need to use it. We'll go through a mission to kind of show how all this stuff works, probably at the end, just so you guys can see how the game kind of plays and what the different kind of things are. So that's it for the missions tab. I spent a lot more time on that than I really wanted to, so let's keep moving along. Some of these tabs we won't spend too much time on. Like this one, for example. You have 8 teams you can make. The characters have different animas. So normally, if you're doing an event that's a specific color, you want to use the color for that anima. Which actually, we can actually go back and show that real quick, why that's kind of important. So, if you use the correct anima, so, for example, this is actually not a good example because these are all rainbow events. So you'll see here next to the event, it does have like a little rainbow symbol. And then when you go to the store, you can see these different colors right here. So let's go to the Yuri chapter, for example. This is the first chapter you'll play through in the game, and the shortest chapter at that. So you'll click on this. You'll choose your support character to bring with you. And then when the long loading screens are done, as you can see, only Melina right here is the one glowing there when she has her rainbow anima up there. So you want to use the color that's actually for this, because if it's not a rainbow event, if it's a specific color, which this is green, as you can see down here, you get 2 times the amount of stats when doing the mission. See, all these teams don't give anything, so until you get down here, there you go, you get the 2 times multiplier. My power goes from 27,000 something to 54,000, which obviously is way more than this mission requires, but the game has gone through a lot of updates since then. So what we're going to go over next is, as you can see, there's this little tab right here. And basically what this does is this is where you choose your equipment to put on each character. So the first thing up here is your regular Mirage Art, which basically in the banners, this is what you're chasing for. This is the ultimate goal, is the Mirage Arts. And what they basically are, like I said before, they are the ultimate attacks. Now, there are two types of Mirage Arts. There's summonable Mirage Arts, and then there's these ones, the free ones. This one for Flynn right here that says level 25. That's the one you get for just unlocking the character. When you unlock the character and you beat the event, you get a free Mirage Art. So if you aren't able to pull the Mirage Art from the banner, you still have an ultimate attack and a stat buff to give the character. Originally, when the game first came out, you can only have one Mirage Art equipped, but now you can have a main and a sub Mirage Art. As you can see, I have his other one down here. And basically, the second one serves two purposes. One, it serves as a stat boost, so you have more stats than just having the one Mirage Art. And the second purpose is, if your Mirage Art gauge fully fills up twice, then you can use two Mirage Arts back to back, which you use your sub one first and then your main one after. And then you can have 4 pieces of regular equipment right here. As you can see, I have 4 things on Flynn, and basically there are different rarities for that. So there's 5 stars, 4 stars, and 3 stars you want to equip. The 2 stars and 1 stars don't matter because there aren't any specific ones per characters. But let's show this off here. As you can see, I have 2 of his 5 stars, and I have 3 of his 4 stars right there. And, you know, each one has a different art, and I'm going to show after we're done breaking all this stuff down. There is a wiki for Tales of the Rays that kind of explains. Not everything is updated to explain what the certain arts do, but for the most part, you know, the important ones, like if you need healing ones, they have been translated on the website. And, you know, worst comes to worst, you just put them on and you see what they do in battle. But obviously, 5 stars and 4 stars are what you want to have decked out on your characters. Now, let's move down the tab a little bit. These are the buffs I was speaking about with the tower. You can have 3 per character, so that's pretty cool to have. He has defense, and looks like an HP. I don't know what this is. It looks like when you dodge, it has something to do with HP. These right here, you're going to have to consult to the wiki for, because these are basically how you're setting your character. So, for example, on a character like Flynn, I feel like this doesn't matter too much. It has to deal with just, if he's controlled by the AI, these are the different things he'll do. But if you had a different character like, okay, Rapide's not going to be a good example. Estelle, for example. Let's go back to the 3rd tab. If you have her set on the bottom one, this is so she'll heal if your allies go anywhere below 75%. If you have the correct arts for healing, or the correct weapons, which I do because some of her stuff here does heal, then she will go ahead and heal your other teammates at a more rapid pace. Now, obviously, I'm sure people who are new will see that she has 3 Mirage Art spots instead of Flynn, who has 2. This is the Spirit Gear I was mentioning before. It's the special thing that characters are slowly starting to get over time, and it'll continue to do so. I believe there's like 12 to 15 characters that currently have them, so it is very specific to those characters. Now, Spirit Gears are a little different than Mirage Arts because Mirage Arts are summon only. You know, you have to get lucky by summoning them. Spirit Gears are farmable to an extent. Well, they're farmable completely. It's just how much time do you want to spend doing that? You can either summon for the Spirit Gears, pull them immediately and not have to worry about farming, or you can farm them, you know, and it might take you 3 or 4 months from when the event had started, but you'll still get it eventually. But if you're going for a specific character, if you farm it right when the event goes live, you should be able to at least get 1 character Spirit Gear to level 3, which is what you need to be able to use the Mirage Art with it, or the Spirit Art. Here's where the bond stuff goes into play. So there are different ways to increase your character's bond level. There are 10 levels, either just by using the character in battle, and they will get bond experience equal to the amount of AP you use for the mission. So on a 40 AP mission, they will get 40 bond experience. And then there are also presents that you can get through various means to give to the characters. And as you can see, each level has a different reward that you get. And this final one at 10 is the skill quest where you'll be able to get their second skit. And then the final tab here isn't really important for anyone who doesn't read Japanese. It basically is just the bio for the character. And that's pretty much that. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else to really show here. Yep, that's pretty much everything there. So let's go ahead and well, we're not even on the right tab anymore, but you probably get my point at that point. So that's everything here. Let's go ahead. Let's go over to the equipment tab. Okay, so it shows all the characters here. Now, if you want to just look at all your equipment together, you can go ahead and click on this. This first one right here is to level up equipment. I don't think I have anything to level up, so I won't really be able to showcase it, because I usually try to keep everything leveled up and enhanced. By the way, this game will have you holding a lot of equipment, and I'm already at max capacity. But yeah, so there is that. Yeah, that's just a dupe. Come on, I gotta have something in here that I can level up. No, that's all old stuff I need to sell. Old stuff. Old. I'm sure I have something at the bottom I'll be able to level up. Okay, here we go. I have Creed's weapon I haven't fully maxed out. So you'll go ahead, you'll click on the piece of equipment. As you can see, you have all these different crystals you can use to level up equipment, which I do have a lot of. And right now, they do have a campaign right now where it'll get bonus stuff. The easiest way to do it, like, you can tap this, you know, slowly level it up. I just click this middle one, click this, shows you what you're going to be feeding in, and it auto-feeds it in. So, boom, level 80. Very simple. That's how you level up your equipment. Now, one more thing I want to show on this tab. I mean, you can do it on any tab when you're looking at your equipment. So, like, for example, you see this extra weapon right here. When the stars are silver, that means you've already max limit broken the piece of equipment. So, this extra shing weapon that you can see right here is useless to me. So, if you hold down on it, it pulls up this thing. You click the green button, and then you click the check mark, click it again. You can sell the extra weapon for prisms if you don't need it any longer. So, there's that. And then this is obviously all your equipment, and then you can click on this right tab if you just want to look at equipment that is actually equipped to characters. So if you really only care about leveling up stuff that's actually equipped to people, you can go ahead and you can do that. So there's that. Second tab is enhancing. I'm not going to show the same thing for Mirage Arts because honestly the same things apply that I'm going to show for the weapons. So enhancing gives the weapons different abilities. Now, obviously, it's much easier if you do this per character, but I'm just going to look for something I can actually enhance. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Try not to use any rainbow orbs right now. All right, you know what? For Crest, for example, let's go ahead and click on Crest. You just click that. As you can see, there are 6 different things. Some characters don't have 6 enhancements yet, but a lot of characters are starting to get them. If you have the materials, you just click it, and then it enhances. And it also gives your character a stat buff. The more enhancements you give, the higher attack power you are going to have. So that's pretty self-explanatory right there. And then this last one right here is infusing. So this is how you will limit break your equipment and Mirage Arts. We definitely saw something. Okay, so Karia's weapon, for example. Go ahead, you click that. Click on the weapon you're infusing. Boom. Green, green. And there you go. You got your second limit break. Each piece of equipment can be limit broken 4 times. That applies to Mirage Arts as well. And that's pretty much everything when it comes to that. Obviously, I have more enhancing to do later. And then, so the second row is your Mirage Arts. Same things apply for all 3. And then the third row is your Spirit Gears, where the first 2 apply. You don't infuse Spirit Gears because they don't work the same way when you level them up. So basically how they work is there's no limit breaks for them, but they do have levels, and each Spirit Gear can go to level 5. So like the Velvet event's going on right now, which actually I don't need 2 minutes, I need another like 130. So when you get these shards from the missions, and you get enough, as you can see I need 400, I have 277. So when you get them maxed out, you'll go ahead, you'll feed them all in, and then the character's level will increase, and this is the stat increase you kind of see there. But other than that, that's pretty much everything on the equipment side of things. Pretty self-explanatory. These are all the characters that currently have Spirit Gears. As you can see, I have a few maxed out already. But let's go over to the next tab, which is going to be like selling equipment and the Turtles tab and stuff like that. So let's go over this real quick. I did not complete my goal of making this under 30 minutes, so I apologize, but I'm sure the dedicated people who want to know how to play the game will have stuck through this. So, pretty self-explanatory for the first one. You just sell equipment here. Let's, I'm sure there's a level 1 weapon I have max dupes of. Like I said, I keep most things, I did not mean to scroll down like that. I keep most things max leveled, so that way when I need to sell things, it's not that hard to figure out what I have max copies of. So let's scroll up till we find something at level 1. Alright, here we go. It pretty much works the same way. This is just easier if you know what you're bulk selling. You just go ahead, you click on something. Let's see if we can find one more. Barbados, we don't need any of those. And you can click up to 20 at a time, and then you click sell, boom, and you get the spoils for that. Fairly simple. Okay, let's back out of that. Second tab, similar thing, Mirage Arts. You really don't need to sell Mirage Arts unless you get, you know, you're maxed out. Which actually happened to me recently. I got Rapide's Mirage Art to 100, so I couldn't use it, so I sold it. Third tab right here, this is the Turtles shop for equipment. So I was mentioning this before. If you don't want to wait for a character's banner to come back, or they haven't been on banner in a while, you can find the character you're looking for. Like if I needed something for Sheena, for example, go in here, you can buy you can't buy their event weapons, but you can buy any of their gacha equipment, you know, 3 stars and 4 stars right here. So if you needed extra dupes or whatever, you can go ahead and buy it here. And as you can see, there's this gauge right here. Essentially what this does is once you've spent 100,000 prisms in the prism shop, you can choose one of these free characters to get. I chose Phoenix for my first time. And then it's really meant for whales. You're not going to be, if you're a free-to-play player, you're not going to be using these characters anyway. They're just collector's trophies. So there is that. That's pretty much it for the prism shop. Nothing really too important there. So let's back out of that. These are just all the different exchanges that you can do. You can kind of click through them to kind of see what they're for, but we'll go ahead, we'll click on them real quick. This is if you sell Mirage Arts. Essentially, you get these. So you get, I think you get like 20 per, I forget if it's 10 or 20 per selling a Mirage Art. But the first item right here is a random Mirage Art ticket. So it'll give you a random Mirage Art if you decide to use it. And then the bottom one here, if you save up to 150, you get to select a Mirage Art from a pool. So I recommend if you are someone who whales out or just happens to max limit break a lot of stuff, definitely save up for the big one. So that's pretty cool right there. So let's go back in here. This is just all the different events that are going on, the event shops we have. If you are a new player, you'll probably have a couple more shops that I don't have right here. But this is basically where you can easily just look at all the event shops right there. Let's go ahead. I think these are the bags. These really only apply to Spirit Gear missions, so I can't really show that off right now. So yeah, they're pretty much just all a bunch of different stuff right there. And then the last one is just, I think this one is selling, yeah, these are like shards that I guess you can sell. Like these ones, for example, I literally have no use for, so I can go ahead and, I'm not going to do it right now, but I have Ix, Melina, and Kyle all at max limit break for their Spirit Gear, so their shards literally mean nothing to me, so you can go ahead and sell those there. So that's done for that tab. Let's go over to the room, which there will be quite a few things to show off in here. So in the room, it's basically where you can set characters to kind of hang out and just chill. As you can see, I have Kirito, Sheena, Yuri, and Saray. Just like any other gacha game, this game does have collab characters. That's why Kirito is in a Tales game. They had an event over a year ago now. I think it was August of 2018 when he got added to the game. And to explain this present tab, this is how you increase the character's bond levels that I was explaining earlier. And when you get a character to bond level 10, you get their skit, like I said. This will be a very important place to go to because there are trophies. So click on this thing. this is obviously where you set the 4 characters you want in the room. Right here, you set what you want the room background to be. Here, you can set the poster that goes in the back. There are many posters to obtain in the game right now. Well, just overall. And then, you know, when you get a character to level 9, they also have these, like, special trophies that they can get. So anytime you have a new trophy in here, you're going to want to click on them because they will give you diamonds as rewards. Depending on the importance of the trophy, you could get anywhere from, like, 2 diamonds to, like, 20 diamonds, and I think there's been a couple that actually give you more. So definitely check it back in with this. Usually after every event or every story chapter, just kind of check back in here, see if you have any new trophies to go through. And then you can go ahead, you can click on the picture in the back if you want to see a close-up of it. You can move, if you drag your finger around, you can look at all the different sides of the room. Looks like there's a present back there on the table. That's kind of cool. And then if you click on this door right here, you can go into the other room, which basically you can listen to all the music and look at all the pictures and stuff that you want to look at here if you click on different things. As you can see, like right there, there's all the different stuff. Next tab, because that's pretty much everything with the room, is the banners. So we'll go ahead, we'll go over this real quick. They have a lot of paid banners up right now for the new year. So as I mentioned before, mirror gems are for paid banners only, or just paid currency. So as you can see here, these are paid only. So these first 2 and then some of the ones down here, you cannot use regular currency to do. I know some people would frown upon that, but honestly, this having paid only stuff is probably best for the game because it gets more people buying. And it's probably why the global version shut down so early, because mirror gems was just the general currency. There were no diamonds. So if you go down here, there are different kinds of banners. So these are the active banners. So anything that's kind of currently going on right now. And then if you click this down here, these are all the story banners from the old arc. So if you want to summon for specific characters, they do have the first time half off banners. So there is that. And then this is the friend point banner. Which some players, you know, might be interested in early on, and it's actually going to be necessary for one of your beginner missions to summon here. And then this is the grade shop. They basically added a gacha ceiling in one of the more recent updates. So if you are someone who really just saves and saves and saves for a very specific banner, like for example, let's say you were a huge fan of, Let's say you're a huge fan of one of these characters, like you really wanted Creed or Shing's new mirror jar, but you just weren't able to get it. If you summon enough to get here, the amount of points to these mirror jars, you get to select a mirror jar. So there is a gacha ceiling. If you're someone who spends a lot, it's probably only going to take you like 10, which this is going to sound like a lot to most people, but it's probably, I think it's only like 20 multis to select a mirror jar. So, or 15 or 20 multis. So if you are someone who spends a lot or just saves a lot of diamonds, because you'll get 100 of the grade shop stuff for a actually I think you get 50 for a regular diamond multi. You get 50 grade points, and you get 100 for a mirror gem multi. And as you can see right here, if you are going to be putting money into the game, it is more beneficial because you are guaranteed 5-star or higher with a paid multi, but a free multi, you're only guaranteed 4-star or higher. So your chances of getting a mirror jar are obviously higher if you actually put money into the game. Other than that, that's pretty much everything. I mean, you can click up here, you can see what's on the banner. 5% rate for a mirror jar, 6% rate for 5-star, 15 for 4-star, and 74% for a 3-star whenever you're doing a summon. They show the rates of the mirror jarts right. Most banners usually cycle between 4 to 8 mirror jarts. So it's usually not too bad to kind of pull what you want, and then you can look at the 5 stars, 4 stars, etc. So that's pretty much it for the summon side of things. Friend point summons can give you up to 4-star equipment. So, and you can only hold 50,000 friend points, so when it does get up to that, they'll just start sitting in your box when you start completing your dailies. So it is kind of helpful to just kind of, whenever it fills up, just do all 50, do those 25 friend point multis, and just sell the extra stuff you don't need. Because you can get some pretty nice, you know what, I'll show off one friend point multi right here just to kind of show what you get. So it shows the animation, You see all 10 items right there. We'll go ahead and skip that. We got one 2-star weapon out of here, which I can sell for prisms, and then the rest are just enhancement stuff. So that's how friend point multis work. So, let's get on to the final tab, and then we'll go into a little bit more stuff. This is probably going to end up being an hour-long breakdown, so I apologize for those who was hoping for a quick thing. First tab, that's where you buy your paid currency. Second tab, this is where you set your friend character. So each event you're going to want to try, once you've been playing the game for enough, to set a friend character that gives a bonus for the event. Every event has the characters that are on the banners will be the bonus characters for that event. So if you pull the new Mirage art, which as you can see I did for Ruka, he is my support character, so any of my friends or anyone who sees my support when they're going to start a mission can go ahead and choose that. So you would pretty much, it says 9%, but that's inaccurate. It's just 9% for his main Mirage art. So you would go ahead, you would click on your character, and then you click on the 2 Mirage arts that you want them to be equipping. So you go ahead, you'll click on that, see it brings them up to 24%, and boom, your character is set. So there's that. The third tab here is storage. If you want to put equipment away and not have it in your inventory, you can do that. The third tab right here just shows you all of your items, just everything you currently own, regular item-wise. This one right here, I think this is just all your characters, right? Yeah, it just shows all your characters. So there's that. We already went over, oh wait, no, we didn't actually go over what this was. So if you want to review any of the skits that are currently in the game, so the first tab would be story skits. You got your 3 arcs right there. Second tab is the event. Event will only apply if you have completed an event. If you weren't here for it, then you probably won't see some of these. So you can go ahead, you can look at those. And the third one that's most important, this is your character skit tab. So this is where you'll go to get your extra AP orbs and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I don't have anyone to kind of view right now. But long story short, you click on a character, you see the skit there. Most characters have a second skit. If they don't yet, they have a coming soon thing going on. But they will most likely get one eventually. So let's actually, Lloyd, for example, I have both of his skits unlocked. You would go ahead, you would click on it. You'd watch the skit. We're going to skip it for now. And then you would see the AP orb pop up, and it would just add to your total amount. So that's it for that. There is a little short animation down here called Everlasting Destiny. You can watch it if you want to. They have the Tales of Link kind of encyclopedia stuff here and all that good stuff. And then, what's this one? Oh, this is just the timeline of when... So if you want to know when a specific event took place in the actual Tales of the Rays lore, because sometimes an event will come out, but the character came into the game much later or much earlier than what was actually shown. So this is the full timeline. It'll obviously constantly get updated when new stuff actually gets added to the game. But as you can see there, it shows every... Well, actually, it doesn't. It actually stopped. To be continued. They actually stopped with Chapter 6. So where is... I'm sure they'll update it eventually, but right now they haven't updated it in a little bit. Hopefully it gets updated soon. So there's that. Settings. Most of this other stuff is really not important. This down here will be important, but we'll go over it. This is obviously how you, what's the word for it? Basically link your account, but we'll go over that in a sec. All this other stuff is not important. You don't need to click on any of this stuff ever. But this one will be how you link your account, which we will go over in just a second. So that's pretty much everything in-game I want to show off. We're going to go through one mission just to kind of show gameplay and how it basically works. So let's go ahead, let's go do a mission. I think we'll actually spend some AP on the Creed event so I can kind of show that off. So let's go ahead, let's go to events. We'll click on Creed's event. And then after this, we'll just have a quick little breakdown of the wiki, which I think is important for everyone to look at. And I will leave a link for the wiki in the description of the video, assuming I remember. If not, someone will yell at me and I'll remember to put it there. So for raid events, you have characters that give different percentages and that'll determine how many points you get. Pretty self-explanatory there. So then you get your team. As you can see, I'll get 135% of the event points. Let's go ahead, let's click that. They just recently added these to the game, where you have little, like, pictures like that. So, there's an auto button up there, as you can see. There will always be a certain amount of treasure chests per map and a certain amount of enemies per map. If you want to make sure you complete everything, make sure you do that, because certain missions, like the story missions, will have specific objectives, like get all the treasure chests, use a certain amount of mirror jarts, do a certain amount of damage in one combo, stuff like that. And as you can see on the you can actually switch characters in the field before you get to the actual battle, if you want to be using someone specific, but you didn't want your team set up to be that way. And as you can see, Xing and Melina are actually glowing. That's because their spirit gear gauge is already full. So the red bar is the regular mirror jar gauge, which will not be full at the start of a mission, except for very extreme situations. But the spirit gear bar, as long as you're playing through the game doing missions, you can fill it up and then save it for when you really need it, and we'll showcase it here. And then Creed, as you can see, has more health than either of these other three characters, and that is because boss characters cannot be healed by regular characters, so they get more health as compensation. So you can move around, you can leave it on auto if you want to, and then you just run to the enemy, just like a regular Tales game. So you can regular attack by tapping, and then you swipe in one of the 4 directions, and that'll be whatever weapon you placed in every specific thing. I am not good with Xing, so I'm not doing a good job of showing that. If you combo it just right, you will do what's known as a just, which will basically make it do more damage and continue your combo. We just got mirror jarted. We're gonna spirit gear. So this is what spirit gear looks like. And then we'll use Melina's as well. Turn auto battle back on so I don't forget. And then this little apple gel thing here is you can use to heal your character. And then as you can see here, the heart on the bottom right hand corner where it says 30, that is the bond points that all the characters would have gotten for this mission. All the other stuff is in English, so you should, you know what that is. EXP, gold, time it took you, and the max amount of hits that you did. And over here it shows you what items you got. It's actually ironic how much is actually written in English for a Japanese game. So these are your total rewards, and then for a raid event, it'll do the multipliers of how much points you actually got from doing that. So that's pretty much the basics of gameplay right there. Obviously, you'll learn more as you continue to play. And there is obviously more to that. There is also something I wasn't able to showcase there, where if you hold down on your character picture in the middle of a fight when you have your mirror gauge filled, you can actually switch, you can cycle between all the mirror jarts you own, even if it's not equipped, and you can actually use that mirror jart if you're fast enough. It's kind of hard, a lot of people are still trying to get used to it, but you can do it. So that's going to be everything I'm going to show on the game. So we're going to actually move over to, my computer, where, as you can see, I do have the wiki open right now. So this is where you want to go, Tales of the Race fandom /wiki, Tales of the Race wiki. I will put this in the description below, pending my memory. And basically, you can go ahead and you can look through all this stuff here. You know, you've got quest chapters. So, like, for example, how I mentioned how you need to do specific things for each mission to make sure you get all the rewards. So let's go ahead and click Yuri's, for example. So you'll go ahead, you'll go to quest, you'll go to expand, and this shows all the stuff you need to do. So clear first quest, so that's just clearing it. Defeat all foes, and then clear with all chest claim. So simple stuff like that. And then clear first quest, defeat all foes, get a mirror ratio of 120%. Now, mirror ratio is something where just by defeating enemies or using mirror jarts, your percentage will go up, and the more mirror jarts you use, the stronger your next mirror jart will be, because the percentage will keep going up. So definitely consult this for that kind of stuff. Once you get to the third arc, I pretty much, my recommendation, if you don't want to constantly look at a guide, just every mission, grab every treasure chest, defeat every enemy, use every mirror jart you can, and you'll pretty much get most of this stuff done. The first arc is very hard to complete everything because it is very, very weak. So I would recommend trying to complete all these objectives when you're first going through it, because you're going to be at your weakest point. So yeah, it has the same thing for events. Pretty simple there. They have stuff. They have information on the tower and the carnival if you want a more detailed explanation on everything that kind of and how it works. They have much more detailed explanations here that I couldn't describe in my video. Here's the weapons. If you want to know what each weapon does, this is obviously an Edna weapon, and it basically explains what all the enhancements are, what it does, a 3-shot projectile attack emitted from an umbrella. Simple stuff like that. You can look at all the characters, and if you want to sort by anima, you can do that. And then you can choose all that. Full character list. You could choose with game logo, so you know which characters come from which game, which color they're going to be, all that kind of good stuff. You can look at all the mirage arts that are currently in the game. They have a full list here. And obviously, if you go to the main page, they usually have what, this started on the 31st. It goes to the 12th, tells you how long the event still has. And it shows everything you can kind of get from the event. Over here, I do have, so this is going to be the beginner missions. So, I've already explained how everything works in the game. So, if you want a free guaranteed Mirage Art ticket, you'll want to complete all of these. So, basically, receive login bonus to, I forget if there's a second beginner mission, but I think there's only one. If there is a second one, I apologize, but I'm sure there's a guide out there somewhere. I think there's only one. So receive login bonus 2 times, so you have to at least play for 2 days. Which reset time for the game is technically, so new content, if it's going to come out, is going to come at midnight Eastern time, but the actual time that you can grab your login bonus is 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time right now. So there's that. So log in twice, clear a quest 1 time, simple. Pull friend gacha 1 time, simple. Strengthen equipment 1 time, very simple. Complete an order. That's where you send the characters out for an hour or however many hours, and they go and do their thing. Clear S1, Chapter 2, Stage 1. So that's just talking about the first arc. So you need to get to Chapter 2 and then the first stage in order to get that one. Use recommended equipment button 1 time. So we're actually going to go back to the game real quick so I can show that. We'll show that at the end. I'm going to show that once I read the rest of these. I'll show what the recommended equipment button is. Use Mirage Arts 3 times. That just means total. And clear an enhancement quest 1 time, which is the 0 AP mission that I was mentioning before. So these are all fairly simple things you have to do. Real quick, before we move back over to the wiki, let's go back to the game real quick so I can show what the recommended equipment button is. So you'll go to the 3rd tab where you go here, and it's just going to be this button right here. And you'll just click the green button. I'm not going to do it because it'll mess up all my equipment, but that's basically what you want to press there for the recommended equipment button. So that's all you have to worry about right there. So now we are done with this. We can go back to here. Which I don't really have a guide for that, but if you just Google Tales of the Rays beginner missions, it should be the first thing. You should see a Reddit post with it there. So one more thing I want to go over before we get on out of here, and I'm sure it's already been an hour, but account binding. And there's also an FAQ. So long story short, what you have to do to bind your account is you need to make a Japanese Bandai Namco ID. Not a regular one. You can't go just type in Bandai Namco ID and make one. You need to make sure you get to the Japanese website. They have a full guide as for what you need to kind of do here. Obviously, you can use your auto-translate stuff for your PC or your mobile phone to do that. And basically it goes ahead and explains the entire guide process for linking your account. And then they basically show once you log in, you just go ahead, you click on there, you link your account. And that way, thank goodness it's not a code setting that a lot of older games kind of have, because then that would be a problem. So let's say you linked your account successfully, you got a new phone. Let's say you upgraded phones. So what you would do then is when you get to this main page right here, when you first boot up the game, you would just click the phone icon right there, and then you would type in your email and password with your Bandai Namco ID, and then you'd be all set to go. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much everything I want to talk about for my 2020 Tales of the Rays guide. There's been quite a few changes since last year. Unfortunately, I couldn't make this any shorter. We're just at about an hour now. But hopefully for those of you who stuck through this, which let me know in the comments down below if you were new to the game and you stuck through the entire guide. Let me know if you are going to start playing the game because of this guide. I definitely want to know down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this guide. And here's to another year of Tales of the Rays. I would say if you're starting now, like I said, now is a perfect time. The anniversary is about a month and a half away. It's usually at the end of February. So you'll get 10 free multis during the anniversary on specific banners, so that'll be a good way to kind of get started. But that's going to be it, guys. Thank you all for watching this guide. Don't forget to subscribe for more if you're new to the channel. I will see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.